There's some food and drink up there if you want to quick grab a plate. Okay. And then you're welcome to sit at any of the open chairs. Few people. There's chairs on the inside here too yet. You're gonna get, oh, he got his own to drink. I was gonna say you're gonna get Tim something. Yeah, Steve has it right there. There's some seats on the inside too. Yep. Want to grab some food and drink? Yep. This morning, that's why I had to come in at 6. No overtime. Yep. Possibility. That was your choice. Plus now we're being recorded, so should I send her a copy of the video? Okay. Hey guys, as you continue to eat, we're going to start this. I don't want to take any more time out of your work schedule than what we've already asked you for. So, again, I'm Jim Buchanan. For those of you that haven't met me, I'm the building inspector. I'm kind of the year-round guy here. I have a house over in the condos too, so even though I've got vacations during the off-season of December, January, and February, I'm around. I drive the park just about every week unless I'm gone and see what's going on out there. So, Steve is a co-inspector for me. He's more of a seasonal guy. He's actually already done. This is his last hurrah before he heads to Florida and leaves the snow belt. So this mainly was because of a thank you. Thank you for a great year. Things have gotten a whole lot better since the first year, and a lot of it's because of you guys. So as I continue to say all the time, you and I have the same customer. It happens to be the Sandy Pines member. So we're here to try to make your job as easy as possible as long as we keep within the lines. And that's the biggest challenge right now, is keeping within the lines, because so many things went off the rails before this that now we're trying to keep it in the rails. And we've also had a lot of different interactions with Eagle, who is in charge of campgrounds. So like I explained it to a lot of members, there's some people that say, hey, let's keep Eagle in the state out of here. This is a private campground. You also have a private vehicle and you have a private driver's license. However, when you became 16 or whenever you got your driver's license, you signed something that calls it statutory law. That statutory law says you will obey the rules and you will follow these rules in order to keep a driver's license and to keep license tabs on your vehicle. When we did that, we signed rules back in '72 when we became a campground that we would follow the rules of the state of Michigan. In 2020, Eagle was brought into that process, and Eagle was made to override what the legislature had already put into rules, like the 400 square feet and other items. So we have to meet that, or we, the park, because we own all the property, get the fine, and then we have to deal with you contractors and or the members. We have to make it right because we're the ones that have signed on the dotted line, so we are held accountable, and that's where a lot of this is coming from. One quick thing of history, I was hoping to have the new rules from Eagle for this meeting, but they still have not gotten those rules all together. There is some draft talk out there. We have not seen the draft talk, but up until now, up until this year, Eagle would come, and there was 7 or 8 people that would sit down and meet and make up the rules. Most of them didn't even camp, but they would make up the rules for campgrounds. The rules for them from the governor when they got this position in 2020 was that they would get some stakeholders involved. They would get campgrounds, building departments, health departments, and all talk about the rules to run a campground. For the first time ever, that has happened in the state of Michigan, and we've been on 3 different video chats with 40 campgrounds, multiple building inspectors, Lara. So all those new rules that were supposed to be reviewed every 5 years, we're still working off the letter from Ben McGeechee from 2010. So we've missed 3 different changes that should have been reiterated of what's going on. So those rules will be done by the end of the year. They were supposed to be at least a draft by now. We don't have it yet. Those will be done by the end of the year, and those are going to be the rules for next year. That's going to make the March meeting that we have very important to all of you people so that we can go through those rules and, again, keep us on the tracks and keep us right in the straight and narrow how we're going to have to go forward. So, again, thank you for a great year. Thank you for being here and getting some lunch from us. I guess right now the biggest thing is, again, we want your input. We did make some changes based on input from the spring meeting. And so right now you can either ask it in the group setting here, or what you can do is you can write it in or email us. There's business cards out there. My business card, my Sandy Pines direct email is jimb@sandypines.com. Whether I'm in town, out of town, I look at those every day. So if you guys ask me a question, even if I'm blessed and on a cruise boat, I will answer back the next morning when I go down for my cup of coffee. So just answer or email me, let me know what you're thinking so we can get back to you and have a great communication. But at this point, what do you guys think? What went right? Maybe what went wrong? What would you guys like to see possibly changed, if anything, at this point? Or what questions might you have, even though we're going to do a bigger question and answer at the end after we go through the agenda? So for the most part, do you guys feel it's gone better for you? Yeah? Okay. And again, unless you don't understand the specific rule, we have an open door policy. Feel free to come in and talk to us at any time, and we'll try to explain it, explain what we feel the state is trying to accomplish when we have to make it look like the rules changed when they really didn't. They just started getting enforced. So there's different things that we have to honor and to watch. So I will say that, again, feel free to come up afterwards and say what you need to say if you want. But one of the things that we've been having a little bit of difficulty with is the PCI permits. So we have maps over at our office or over at admin. Those maps will give you what street name your customer is on. That membership, we need those. For instance, if it's lot Phase 4, 236 Sauk Court, S-A-U-K Court, it needs to say number 236 Sauk Court, then phase 4 written behind it. That's how PCI finds these lots out here under MapQuest. So that's been a very big challenge. We have some people that have gone to that on the Sandy Pines permit process and put 236 Sauk Court. On the Sandy Pines or the zoning process, we need a 4-digit number. If you're at lot 318 in phase 1, it's 0318. If you're in phase 5, it's 5136, and so on. So if you ever have a question about that, please ask us. However, in phase 5, it would be 136, I think it's phase 2 actually, but Winding Way Trail, phase 5 is how the PCI wants it. So when you have the dual permits, it's a little bit tricky once you get a hold of it, but that's why we handed maps out at the spring meeting. If you need more maps, they're at admin, and we'll hand them out again in the spring meeting this year so that you guys can fill those paperworks out. Not everybody here has to worry about dual permits, but those of you that do, please understand that makes our job a lot easier. What we've had is when people only put 236, I might go to it and I might bill out lot 0236 instead of 5236, and those people don't like it when I bill them instead of the right lot. So I get a lot of kickback on that. So help me do my job a little better if you would, please, and help Steve so that we can get that taken care of. Permits and the processes for the year end. So October 1st is Sandy Pines fiscal year. Right now, electrical and tree permits are $50. All other permits are $60. We did a talk with PCI about them coming in and being zoning. Those of you that do dual permits know that PCI is zoning in a lot of communities around here. So they're not only the building, they're the zoning to see if you can do that in their area. They've been hired by that community. They are a bare bones minimum of $100 per zoning permit. So looking at that, we went back through. We also have to remove trees with our budget from the building department because there's a lot of trees that are deteriorating around our park. Okay. Thank you. So there's a possibility that everyone will get that same email to know that your permit has been approved, because that takes a lot of different challenges in our office to make sure that every box is clicked and that we send this out in multiple ways. So hopefully we're going to get to a digital send out system that you guys will know that these are approved. But again, please don't work on a job if the member didn't pick it up. You guys take the time to come over to our office. These are unlocked and open, and you're ready to come and pick these up at any time if the job's been approved. Once in a while, they're asking for something that when I go measure, because we are looking at these job sites beforehand, I can't approve it. Somebody has to put a gazebo 10, 15 feet behind their lot line in the green space. I had to ask them to rewrite the permit. So that's another reason not to do it if you don't have one of these, because we may have put a stop on the application because it doesn't meet our rules and it doesn't meet Eagles or the state's rules. So please be aware of that. The fall hours, we're coming into the fall hours through, I will be working this Saturday coming up. After that, I have no help right now. Steve and Cindy have both gone to Florida or are on their way to Florida. So we will be open in the office from 7 to 10 a.m. on Mondays into October. And then we will also be open by appointment. If you need to see me out on a lot, give me a call. My business cards with the office phone number and the Sandy Pines building inspector cell phone are right here. That cell phone is with me a lot. This last week, it rained quite a bit, so I had people leaving messages after other people were already being talked to. So it's a very busy phone. Please leave a message or text me so that I can get back to you. That response, I'll make it as quick as I possibly can. But I am here right up through the end of our season, and we'll explain those dates here soon. But right now, 7 to 10 after this weekend is going to be on Mondays, and every other time I'm here, even on Saturdays, so every other time will be by appointment if I have an availability, but there's a lot of people that want to meet with us. And right now, they'll be down to one of us. Speaking of time for building, specifically building of anything that's going to get a second permit or anything that requires building, such as decks and stuff, is going to be a hard stop at the end of Thanksgiving weekend. There will be no building again this year, December, January, and February. You'll be able to start the first week of March again, but at this point, there's going to be a hard stop. So I did talk this over with the powers that be, and that hard stop is going to be there. If you have a project that has been started and you just couldn't complete it, materials didn't come in, something didn't happen, and it's a kind of an emergency or something, talk to us, but those permits will be accepted to go into the new year. Anyone who has not pulled a permit, we're not allowing you to come and get a permit before October 1st because of the price jump and then start that job in the spring. That's done. All permits will die on January 1st, and that process will start again. But if you've started a project, we're not going to make you come back and get another permit. But we do have to have a hard stop. Now, that being said, we still have a couple of things that are being done. So obviously you can still meet with customers. You can still show up and measure. You can get in the park like you normally could. But leaves and sticks, leaves and lot cleanup is going to be able to be continued. That was one of the things that was brought up earlier in the meeting this spring. That's going to continue. That doesn't require us. There is, however, some issues on that. We've noticed, and there's been complaints from members that live next to those people that, hey, my next door neighbor's lot looks really beautiful, but now I have a mound 18 inches high, 5 foot into my lot where most of them got blown. That's going to be very, very watched, and so we will be calling if we find out that they had a contractor that's doing that. Please do not blow anything into the park green space. Do not blow anything onto a neighbor's lot. Be respectful. And of course, the signs will be going up this next week. Do not blow anything into the lake. Our lake has enough of the stuff decomposing in it. We don't need to add a bunch of leaves to it. So please be respectful of that. Tree removal. Tree removal is going to continue for those of you that do the tree removals. Again, listening to you guys, we feel, number one, it's the safest time of year to do it when there's a lot less people in the park. Also, there's things that are diseases like the oak wilt that can transfer very easily from tree to tree. We do have some type of diseases running through the park where there's things that are affecting our trees. So we decided that we have to keep that going, again, for safety and because we don't want to spread the diseases in the park. So that will continue to go. All tree removal requires a mandatory permit. We have to see what's going on in our park. In one of the boxes outside of our office, there is orange tape. There's a roll of it. If you need and don't have it, please grab that orange tape, put it around the tree you want, because believe it or not, we did on a couple of job sites and the wrong tree came down. So we want to make sure that those are marked. And again, even though I'm going to be out of town, I still have people at the office I can work with. Take a picture, send it to that Jim B at sandypines.com email, and you can also do an online permit. Fill out one of those permits, click it with a picture, and add it to that text or that email, and I will still get it. So we still are going to require those permits. I can then get a hold of the office if I'm gone, and they will have extra permit cards that they can fill out for those jobs. But we still need to follow the process. So please listen to that, because security is going to be seeing what's going on and giving us a heads up of what's happening, and those will be handled in a totally different way. Snow removal, as always, we want to be able to keep our lots safe, and there's going to be times, sounds like we might have a pretty heavy winter, and there's going to be times that we're going to have to get out, and there's going to be some raking of the roofs and getting the snow off from the roofs. So that, again, is something, obviously, during the off-season, you have to have snow removal. So that's one of the other things that's going to be allowed. So again, leaf and stick cleanup from lots, tree removal, and snow removal. Those are the things that are going to be allowed. And again, that's up until Thanksgiving weekend. After that, it's going to be a hard stop on construction. Okay. The other thing is we've already set the meeting for Tuesday, March 24th at 11:30, 2026. That is going to hopefully give us a lot of the updates from the state. We've been told that we should have this by the beginning of the year, by January 1st. If we get that by January 1st, we're going to be able to compile what it means to our park. We'll be able to talk to the board about any possibility of rules changes that we might make. And then we should have that information for that March meeting. So the one thing that's going to change this year that we had some problems with over at security is when you guys sign back up. A lot of people want to wait until they start their first job. So they come in April, May, some people in June. So as of this point, you have your contractor program, you have your card. Anybody who signs up by April 14th, so you can sign up the minute the park will take your application, which Nicole will take them in the beginning of March. We will take them at the March 24th meeting. That gives you from the March 24th meeting till April 14th, 3 weeks to fill that out. Anyone who pays their fees, their cards will be left on. There will be no issue. We have people coming in trying to get us all their information and stopping traffic at the guard shacks. That's causing a lot of grief for us. We can't have people working in the park without the proof of their liability insurance. All cards will be shut off on the 15th if you have not signed back up. And all cards have a $50 charge to get re-signed up. So if you do it late, there's going to be a cost to it, and that's just like our members. Anyone who doesn't sign their cards back up, they get a fee for signing those cards back up. So please, write your notes down, put it in your calendars, in your phone, whatever. Please get all your paperwork back to us and get that done as soon as possible so that we don't have to enforce this on anybody. We know we're going to have to, but we're not here just to try and collect money. We need to make this run smooth and easy, and that's what we're looking for. So at this point, does anybody have any questions that, again, anything you think we should change, any questions on what I've just said so I can clarify it better if I didn't do a good enough job? What would your questions be?
So the question that I have is, I'm assuming I can get with you or the office before I go to Florida as well to make sure I'm on contractor's list next year. And I do not need a contractor's card, correct? I live here, I can just keep on using my personal card because I won't be getting a contractor's card.
Yeah, so the question was, that he won't be here to get a contractor's card because he goes to Florida. Let's all hear it for him. Boo-hoo. Anyway, so he gets away from the snow, and he's going to use his personal card because he's a member in the park. He does not need a contractor card to get in and out of the gates. He can use his personal card, so he does not need to do that. However, he does need to get signed up on the contractor's list and pay that fee before he does a contractor job when he gets back from Florida. So that is correct. You can do it before you leave. Anyone that wants to get signed up before you leave and get signed up for next year, you're more than welcome to do that. If your insurance lapses, we are looking at that, so we will then ask you, and we have it in our system now that we can ask you, or we'll call you back up and double check your insurance. So if your insurance would lapse between now and then, because most of them are 12 months, that would be the only thing we would ask you for your proof of your insurance, Troy.
So on that, I'm a member as well, on the contractor's list as well.
Yes.
I can use my personal card. How does that go into you're over 180 day, punching, sliding, swiping? How is that gonna affect me as a member as well as a contractor?
Yep. So Mr. Burgess asked, how is it going to affect if he uses his personal card? How is it going to affect his 180 days? That is definitely a question for Paul at security. And if you inform him of what you're doing, he can look at that and keep records of that at security. Any mention back there or not about that, Jeff?
Yeah, it'll count towards your 180. It will count towards it, it will count towards it.
So it will count towards your 180 days. So depending on how far and how long you're here, I don't think Troy's even here for 180 days. Yeah, he stays down, so it won't affect him. So with you, I would recommend you just pay your dues in plenty of time and keep your card to work your card. Yeah, pay the contractor fee.
So that way I just know to make sure that when I have my boys come in or my workers,
Yep.
come in, make sure that they use that business card as well as I should be using that business card. Right?
Yes. So use the business card when you're in and out for business. Your 180 days are going to count on your personal card, and then it could be shut off after that point, or will be shut off. So yes, use your contractor card, which all of you right now have those cards. You've paid for them. Just don't let them lapse. Help us do a better job at our office and get that paperwork all in by the 14th of April.
Also, what are your time frames to let a contractor come in? Because there are times where I come here to get my boys ready to set up around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I can't swipe in, it won't let me come in.
Yep.
My personal. So what are your time frames of what date that we can use to come in from time to time, and start, whatever it is?
Yep. So great question. All of the gates are set up right now. I believe the contractor cards went from an 8 a.m. because that's when we can start and make noise to 8 p.m. There is some talk, and again, that was kind of one of the questions I was going to hope, if you could write that down, Steve, that we would talk to the park, because if you want to start at 8, yes, that means you're going to be in here at 6 or 6:30 or 7 to get everything set up before you start making noise. So we will talk to security about possibly changing that, and admin to about possibly changing that and moving that to an earlier time frame, and to possibly go to a later time frame, because when I had a business in here, sometimes you can't meet with the member until Friday night at 8 o'clock to collect your final check or something. So we understand those issues. Those have been a problem, but we've also been trying to pull back in. And again, a few bad eggs ruin it for everybody. When contractors are using their card to come in and watch our fireworks and do things like that, that's not a business attitude. We have to protect the park and the membership. So there's reasons that we did it. We weren't just trying to be jerks, but we had to be able to protect the park. So that is one thing that's why.
Right. And then so, in the fall, like after October, is there a way that we can throw that guideline of the 8 a.m. noise ordinance, because the fact there's like 99% of us are not here. So is there a reason why my boys or my group can't go out and start at 7 or 7:15?
I will definitely bring that up to the admin and see if that can come out, and then I will send it out to a link, the answer to that question. So the question was, can we start before 8 a.m. because 95% of the park is not here at that point. We did do some stuff where I allowed people to start after the tornado. I allowed some of the tree cutters to start like at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And I just went to the trailers in that area and said, I apologize. We're going to let them start. We need to get this damage picked up and cleaned up for safety of the park before the holiday weekend. So that was a special instance, and those will always be on a special instance. But I will bring that question up. We'll discuss it, and I'll give you guys an email back next week on the answer for that. Mr. Schaefer.
Clarify the end date of the Thanksgiving weekend does not apply to tree trimmers. We can trim all winter.
That's correct. Tree trimmers can trim all winter. That is not going to be affected on the October or on the November 30th end date. Yes, Jason.
Hey, just an email or something, letting us know the changes. I had an incident, I called you this summer. I was not aware that the contractor's coming in here after 8 o'clock. I had an emergency service call, the air conditioner and that not working. But if I would have had someone a heads up,
Yep, and again, that should be addressed when I email next week about what happened. So we do realize that some of you people here are contractors that are an emergency service, especially when we had 90-degree days and somebody needed air conditioning back on. We have quite a few elderly people that have to stay in that air, otherwise things might not go very good. So yes, we understand that some of those, and anytime you have an emergency or a situation, that's why the cell phone, that's why security knows my personal phone and can get a hold of me at any time. So give them a call at security and say that you really need to talk to me. We've had some boating incidences and some other things happen this summer that they were able to get a hold of me at all hours, and I do answer my phone. So especially when security calls. So if you need to get through to me, you will be able to get through to me. Tony.
Officially, the end date of Thanksgiving, if we have permits in, everything that's going to go on. Vacation Land is placing a park model until mid-November. Timeline of materials ordering, can we start, and then as long as we are finished with that project by January 1, we would not have another permit fee, or we notify you and just say we're willing to pay the extra permit fee, we got them closed. We just have to wrap up because of weather, because of all the different things, exterior in the spring.
Yep. So to clarify that again, his question was that if we finish by January 1, no permit fee. So the hard date is that Thanksgiving weekend. December 1st on, no work will be allowed regardless if you've already started it. So try to get them buttoned up before you get there. You will not have a permit fee if all you need to do is finish a job. You've got your walls up, your roof up, but you need to side it. You can side it in the spring, and there will be no permit fee for that to go forward. But the hard stop for all contractors on the contractor basis is going to be, for those double permits, is going to be December 1st. No work will be gone from December 1st back until March 1st. But thank you for that question. Yes, sir. Landscape will apply to that because most of it, especially in the green space, anything that goes beyond the lot line requires a permit regardless of whether it's on our permit schedule. Just because you're in the green space, the park has to approve absolutely everything. So, Tim, I'm thinking about some of the different projects you do, and a lot of the pavers, a lot of the landscaping goes beyond the lot line to be done. So because those need a permit, that would be something that would have to stop at that point. I do know that you have some Eagle permits out there. I can try to figure out if that's going to be something that's going to be allowed. I don't even know, to be very honest, the way Eagle's been doing stuff, I don't even know that we're going to have it before March right now, to be honest with you. So that would be a question that if we did get a permit and we wanted to react while the lake was down, that would be something I could bring up to admin, and we'll have to talk about it and give the pros and the cons to it to see if we're going to allow something like that to be done. But it's going to be on a individual piece by piece basis to look at that. But thank you for the question. Yes, sir. Docks need permits the first time they're going in, but when you're taking the docks out and putting them back in, they do not need permits. And I think it's in there that we have to have the docks out. The docks should be all out by November 30th anyways, because you don't want those to be a hard freeze in there, the ones that have to come out. Yep. And anyone that can prove to us or write a letter to us that their docks have been in over 7 years, then they want to write a letter to us and we put it in their file. That is something that Eagle looks the other way on, and anything over 7 years can stay in automatically as a grandfathered thing from the state. You should be, when you deliver a brand new dock, yes. Everyone has to come and fill that out and get a permit for a brand new dock that's going in their place for the first time. Yes.
Even when the water goes down and recedes, if the dock is no longer in the water, does that count?
That does count, as it counts as in the water. So the state takes the level of 673. So if I go out there with our altimeter and put it on there and it's 673, whether there's water there or not, the state owns that property because they go based on high water mark. So that is correct. That still is the state's property, even though water's not there. And for people to say, well, I can't leave it in the lake, well, there's no lake there anymore, so I can leave my dock in, that's a false statement as well. Thank you. So the question was asked, if there's no water there, is that still considered a dock in the water? Yes. The state looks at 673, which is about 3 foot down from our steel posts all the way around the lake. The other thing is when you're putting these docks in too, so if you guys can be a voice for us a little bit and talk to people, they're not to be removing all that vegetation either. So we have a lot of problems with people rototilling and removing vegetation. If you just go around the lake and you look after the last rainstorm that came down, you can see where all the vegetation was removed. There's ruts. And water is nothing more than a conveyor belt to bring that sand into our lake. And we used to have a lake that was a lot deeper, 16 feet in some cases. I don't think right now you can't find anything over 12 feet, but I don't think you can find anything over, right now, probably about 12 and a half feet when the lake's full for our water level. So all of that sand is going in, and then when the power boats go around, they're just moving that sand and that silt and filling in the void. So we're getting shallower and shallower. One of the guys made a joke that whatever man makes, Mother Nature will take back. So without continued maintenance on our lakefront and what we're trying to do for this next year, we're going to lose our lake. So we need to continue to maintain it, and that vegetation needs to stay there to protect our lake so that all that sand doesn't wash right in. For that reason, those of you that do this, we are not allowing any more sand to be repatriated to the beach at this point. And the reason for that is, well, where'd the sand go? Well, I don't know. It's just not there anymore. Well, it went in our lake because gravity is going to flow downhill every time it rains. So we're not going to let you come and put a whole nother trailer load of sand to only end up with that being in the lake next year. And now we have to pay somebody else to go in the lake and drag it out and to pull it out. So there will be no sand allowed along the beach all around the lake shore at this point, unless we can look at that and see that it's protected from some way. So it's far enough back from the beach and they want to maintain it or do some type of landscaping like Tim suggested. So those will not be done. Any other questions? Well, looks like we're done a little bit early. So Steve and I are going to be staying around, and we don't mind if you guys have an individual question or a job question, if you want to come up and write it down. Hopefully everyone was able to take this sheet, and we would love for all of you to come back and be part of our park next year. Hopefully you guys made some money this year and did some good business with us. Hopefully the things that we've addressed from the springtime meeting works for everybody. And we're trying to help and try to go a little bit longer. We're going longer into the year now for building and stuff. There was a rumor out there that by October 30th, permits stop. I'm in the park. I'm here. If you need a permit for a job and you can get a job done in a week and a customer wants to get it done and you can still meet the end date time frame, I'm here to give you a permit. So it is going to take a few days longer. Our book says 5 business days. That's 1 week. From you put it in Monday, it'll be approved by Monday. So 5 to 7 business days is what the book says. I'm still trying to do them quicker than that, but if you put them in, I still stop by the office, even though it doesn't have hours at the office. I can get a lot more done if people don't know I'm at the office. So I'm there usually pretty early. If you drive by and you see my silver gray, dark gray pickup truck, Chevy 1-ton, there, I'm usually there. I don't mind you stopping in if you have a question. I don't mind you calling if you have a question. Again, can't emphasize it enough. We have the same customer, our members. Our job is to make your job as easy as possible and help you do the right thing with those members. But that statutory law that I mentioned in the beginning, we have to meet the campground rules that have been stated and written by the legislature and are being impacted and followed by Eagle. So we have to meet those rules. We need your help to keep doing that, guys and gals. So any other questions? If not, feel free to grab something else to drink, or if you need a little more to eat. And again, we're going to be here for a while. We're going to cut you guys loose and get you back to your jobs. Please put on your calendar Tuesday, March 24th, 26th at 11:30, and come back, and we're going to have another great year, hopefully better than ever. Thank you very much, everybody.